these screws stay in the plate. So now there's a clip here and a clip here. You pull, and then this pops up, and you gently remove. Next, this comes out. There's one screw here. This comes all the way out. And this pops up, and you gently remove this. There's a little dust on here. So set that over there with the screw. Now this little wire comes off. Just kind of move that out of the way. Now, there is a screw here and a screw here. We're going to remove those. Now we have to flip the case over, and these 4 screws come out. Whoop. Be more careful than that. Say, now these screws are out, you flip the case back over. This is the trickiest part. This board comes out like this, and it doesn't fully remove. So this is the Ethernet port. You sort of pull the case, and just you'll feel it get loose, and then you're gonna pick up gently like that, and then it rotates out sort of like a hinge. And then here's our fan. Note the colors and what direction this goes in, because it's small and hard to see. This screw comes all the way out. These 2 screws have a clip on the other side that you have to remove because you use those screws in the new fan. So remove this screw. And then unplug this clip, and the fan's out. There's a little clip right there and there. I just get my fingernail sort of underneath them and pull those off. Let's set them aside for now. And then the old fan's out. New fan. We're going to take the screws that need the clips, put one in at a time, flip it over, and this is the clip. And it just goes on the screw like that, and then you sort of have to press it on. They're just meant to hold the screws there, so it's easier to install. Now before we put this back together, take this duster. This is where the air flows through. Make sure to blow all the dust out of there. And while we're at it, just get all the dust off of here. And then out of the case. All right, now we're gonna install the fan. So you just put the fan back in place. And the screws need to be tight, but you don't have to wrench on them. Remember, it's a fragile computer. Now, if you remember, the blue wire was over here, so that's how we're going to connect this connection, which is a little difficult because everything's so small. So once you have it lined up, then I sort of use my fingernails on both sides, and you'll feel it clip. All right, so this is another tricky part. So you want to keep this wire that we unplugged earlier up because we have to plug it back in. And we rotate this into place. There is this little bumper here that can come off. This is for the power button. Supposed to stick and stay there. All right, so the power button is right here. It hooks up under that little bumper. So we have to rotate this in. And once you can see everything's lined up, then again, this part of the case has to pull away just a little bit. And then make sure this wire is still sticking up. I don't like this part because it feels like you're going to break something. Make sure your power button clicks. So now we're going to put these black screws back in, and they go here. Okay, now before we go any further, flip the case over, and these silver screws go back to their home. Now flip the case back over. Now we have to get this hooked back up to here. This one's a little difficult too. You'll know when you have it lined up because it goes right in there and it makes a little pop noise. Now we're going to reinstall this and gently push it in there. Now make sure right here there's a little lip on this housing. You want it to sit with the lip inside that half moon shape. And then you take the screw and again, don't crank it down, just tight enough that it doesn't flop around. And now this, there's these two clips that are gonna hold it, but we have to put it in at an angle, and there's a little line right here that matches up there. So you wanna make sure that's there, and it goes in like that, and you push down gently, and those clips clip it back in. Now there's a little dust in here still. I'm gonna spray that off again. Make sure everything's set. And if you haven't moved anything, like spun this around, you just flip this back over. Snug these up. All right, now we flip the case back over, and there's only one way that this will line up on there. So I didn't move anything, so I just have to flip it over, line up the back. It's a little difficult to clip this back on. Feel like you're gonna break some stuff, and then we're done. We just plug it back in and you're good to go.